Welcome to Trump Wire, your trusted source for breaking headlines, global insights, and sharp analysis from around the world. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. The afternoon sun cast a golden glow over the clouds, painting the sky in hues of amber and rose. It was the kind of view that made you forget for a moment that you were thousands of feet above the earth, suspended between worlds. Flight 734 cruised smoothly above the endless sea of clouds, its engines humming a steady lullaby. The world below was hidden, and up here, it felt as if time itself had slowed. Inside the cabin, a gentle peace settled over the passengers. Some dozed, heads resting against windows, while others quietly read or gazed out at the ever-changing sky. The rhythmic vibration of the plane was oddly comforting, a reminder of the routine and safety of air travel. I sipped my coffee, letting the monotony wash over me, when suddenly a ripple of energy broke the calm. A sharp gasp cut through the quiet, and heads turned in unison. A woman near the window pressed her hand to the glass, her eyes wide with disbelief. Her reaction was so intense, it drew immediate attention from those around her. Passengers craned their necks, following her gaze, confusion and curiosity spreading like wildfire through the rows. The air was suddenly charged with anticipation, as if everyone sensed something extraordinary was about to happen. Then, a young boy's voice rang out, clear and excited. "Look, there's a spaceship." His words, innocent and bold, seemed to hang in the air, challenging reality itself. At first, it sounded like a child's fantasy, the kind of thing you'd expect from an overactive imagination. But as more eyes turned to the window, the mood shifted. Disbelief gave way to shock, and a hush fell over the cabin. Outside, suspended in the sky, was a craft unlike anything we'd ever seen. It was smooth and seamless, shaped like two plates pressed perfectly together, its surface reflecting the sunlight in a way that seemed almost otherworldly. There were no wings, no engines, no visible means of propulsion, just a silent metallic form gliding effortlessly beneath us. It moved with a grace that defied logic, as if it belonged to the sky in a way our plane never could. The craft matched our speed with uncanny precision, keeping pace with our jet as if it were studying us, or perhaps inviting us to study it in return. It was both mesmerizing and unsettling, a silent companion on our journey. Every passenger who saw it seemed transfixed, caught between awe and fear. The sight was mesmerizing, yet deeply unsettling, a reminder that the universe still holds mysteries we can barely comprehend. In an instant, our ordinary flight had become something extraordinary. The familiar routines of air travel were replaced by a sense of wonder and uncertainty. We stared, transfixed, as the impossible unfolded just below us. For a moment, every passenger was united by the same question: what are we witnessing? The sky, once familiar and comforting, now felt full of secrets, reminding us that even in the most routine moments, the extraordinary can appear without warning, changing everything we thought we knew. The object's surface was dark, almost absorbing the sunlight, its matte finish making it hard to focus on. It was the classic flying saucer, familiar, yet utterly alien in its reality. It glided effortlessly, ignoring the turbulence and resistance our plane fought against. No vapor trails, no sign of propulsion, just silent, impossible motion. At one point, it tilted, revealing a flat underside, then righted itself with fluid grace. The craft was massive, perhaps half the length of our jet, and impossibly close. Its silence was profound, a statement of technology beyond our understanding. Suddenly it slid forward, hovered ahead, then pivoted and shot away into the clouds. In a blink, it was gone, leaving only the stunned silence of those who witnessed it. The hum of our engines was all that remained. As the object vanished from view, swallowed by the endless blue below, a stunned silence hung in the air for a split second. Then, as if on cue, the cabin erupted into chaos. The quiet hum of the engines was drowned out by a sudden surge of voices, shouts, and gasps. Passengers leapt from their seats, craning their necks to peer out the windows, voices overlapping in disbelief. "Did you see that? What was that thing? It was right under us." Phones came out in a frenzy, hands shaking as people tried to capture proof. Shaky videos replayed instantly, screens illuminating faces that flickered between awe and fear. The shared experience bonded us instantly, strangers united by the impossible, exchanging wide-eyed glances and hurried whispers. In that moment, we were no longer just passengers. We were witnesses to something unexplainable. Some clutched their armrests, knuckles white, while others nervously laughed, trying to make sense of what had just happened. Flight attendants, visibly shaken but holding on to their professionalism, moved quickly down the aisle, urging everyone to sit and buckle up. Their voices were calm, but their eyes betrayed their unease. Over the intercom, a strained voice crackled through the speakers. "The captain is aware and in contact with air traffic control. Please remain calm." The confirmation only heightened the tension. Some passengers laughed nervously, their voices a little too loud, as if humor could dispel the fear. Others sat pale and silent, eyes wide, replaying the moment in their minds, trying to process what they'd seen and what it might mean. The young boy who first spotted it was now quiet, his earlier excitement replaced by uncertainty, comforted by his mother's gentle embrace. The captain's voice finally returned, steadier this time. "We've had a report of unusual air traffic. Authorities are investigating. Please remain seated and await further instructions." His careful words couldn't erase what we'd witnessed. The truth of what we saw hung in the air, unspoken but undeniable. We exchanged glances, a silent agreement passing between us. We had all seen it, and nothing could change that. The sky outside, once familiar and comforting, now seemed vast and mysterious, forever changed by what had just occurred. The ordinary had become extraordinary, and as we soared onward, we knew the world would never look quite the same again. After the captain's announcement, a strange hush settled over the cabin. It was as if the very air had thickened, every passenger suddenly aware that something extraordinary had just happened. The usual hum of conversation and clatter of trays faded, replaced by a heavy, collective silence. Passengers whispered, comparing notes, trying to make sense of the event. Some exchanged nervous glances, while others leaned in close, voices barely above a whisper, as if afraid the truth might be overheard by the wrong ears. The uncertainty was palpable, a current running through every row. Strangers became confidants, united by a shared mystery. People who had boarded as strangers now found themselves connected by a single, inexplicable experience. There was comfort in the shared confusion, a sense that no one was alone in their disbelief. Many texted loved ones, struggling to describe what they'd seen without sounding crazy. Fingers flew across screens, searching for the right words to capture the surreal moment. Some hesitated, unsure whether to share the truth or keep it to themselves. Blurry photos and videos were uploaded, a digital archive of collective shock. Images were compared, stories swapped, each person hoping for validation that what they saw was real. The evidence was imperfect, but it was all they had. The flight crew maintained professionalism, but their eyes betrayed their unease. Their movements were precise, but their smiles were tight, and their glances lingered a little too long on the anxious faces around them. When asked, they offered only rehearsed, non-committal answers. It was clear they knew more than they could say, or perhaps they were just as bewildered as the rest of us, clinging to protocol in the face of the unknown. As we began our descent, adrenaline faded, replaced by wonder and unease. The initial shock gave way to a deeper, lingering curiosity. What had we really witnessed, and what would it mean for us once we landed? We were about to rejoin a world that hadn't seen what we had. The city lights below sparkled, as if nothing had changed, but for us, everything felt different. We were returning to normalcy, but carrying something extraordinary. The secret felt too big for the confines of the plane. It pressed against the walls, heavy and unspoken, a burden we all shared but couldn't quite voice aloud. Looking out at the city lights, everything seemed different, bigger, more mysterious. The familiar world below now held new questions, and the unknown felt closer than ever before. We had boarded as ordinary people. We would land as witnesses to the unknown. Each of us carried a piece of the story, a memory that would linger long after the wheels touched down. The world below felt changed, even if it didn't know it yet. We were different now, marked by what we'd seen, and the ordinary landscape seemed to shimmer with new possibilities. We carried a story that could change everything. Whether we chose to share it or keep it to ourselves, we knew we'd never see the world quite the same way again. By the time we landed, our story was everywhere. Social media posts from Flight 734 went viral, news outlets scrambling for details. My own blurry photo appeared on TV before I reached baggage claim. But our sighting wasn't unique, it was part of a growing pattern. Reports of similar craft, especially near coastlines, had surged in recent months. Crowdsourced apps like Enigma logged thousands of sightings, many describing orbs or disks moving between air and water. Our flight became another data point in a mounting body of evidence. The question was no longer if these things were real, but what they were. The phenomenon had moved from fringe to mainstream, impossible to ignore. Our ordinary flight had become the face of a global mystery. Our sighting sent shockwaves through Washington, fueling debates about government secrecy. Lawmakers demanded answers, frustrated by the Pentagon's lack of transparency. In hearings, officials admitted to withholding key UAP files, citing national security. Videos showed military encounters with similar objects, craft unfazed by missiles, moving with impossible speed. Whistleblowers described retaliation for reporting such incidents, hinting at a policy of denial. The official stance: no verifiable evidence of extraterrestrial technology. But the gap between public statements and mounting evidence was growing. Our flight highlighted this crisis of trust, forcing a national conversation. The question: why are we being kept in the dark? As our story dominated headlines, experts weighed in, some urging caution, others warning of a threat. Scientists called for more data, suggesting drones or atmospheric phenomena as possible explanations. Defense officials warned of advanced technology, a potential security risk. Whistleblowers claimed secret studies and cover-ups, adding intrigue and paranoia. The public, including us, was caught in the middle, unsure whom to trust. Was it science, security, or secrecy? Our sighting became a canvas for every theory and fear. The truth remained elusive, lost in the noise. The impact of our sighting was profound, shifting public perception overnight. UFOs were no longer fringe, they were dinner table conversation. The stigma faded, replaced by curiosity and unease. Polls showed most Americans believed the government was hiding the truth. Our testimony made the phenomenon relatable. Ordinary people, undeniable event. News of UAPs became a constant hum of anxiety. We became reluctant celebrities, our story a touchstone for a world looking up and asking, "What's going on up there?" The mystery had become personal, and the world was watching. As the shock faded, deeper questions emerged. The sighting forced us to confront our place in the universe. Are we alone? Are we the most advanced? The secrecy surrounding the phenomenon raised questions about trust and transparency. Was the truth being hidden for our safety, or for control? The object was more than a spectacle. It was an invitation to be curious, to ask bigger questions. The search for answers may matter more than the answers themselves.